He did something that no quarterback in NFL history had ever done before. Ever. Name the greatest quarterback ever in the league. They didn't do it. He did. This is Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 291, with our very special guest, Marc Bulger. That's Mark with a C, by the way. M-A-R-C. It's not M-A-R-K. It's kind of like the Tony deal. It's not T-O-N-I. It's T-O-N-Y.
There's a story about that. You know, when he was on the cover of the program for one game,
what happened?
They spelled it M-A-R-K. Oh. Yeah.
Why do you have to bring that up?
You can't do that.
Of all the things Bulger's done, that sticks in your mind that it was wrong on the program
cover? It's not Bulger's fault.
That's a fact.
Why is it in your head? Move on.
Why you blame the messenger? He's just providing information. That's what he's here for, information.
The music's still playing. He's talking about a mistake on the program ad. The music is still on.
Hoppy, H-O-P-P-I, is right with what he said. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Burdett Camping Center, the only RV warranty forever provider in the entire state of West Virginia. Weirton to Welch, Martinsburg to Matewan, all points in between. For more than 40 years, they've been putting Mountaineers inside unbelievable recreational vehicles. And a survey did come out. We've talked about this survey earlier this year. The #1 recreational vehicle dealership in the world, Burdett Camping. And right now, 291st episode, if you go to Burdett Camping, tell them you're a Three Guys listener. You spend $1,000, whether it's in sales, parts, service, they'll give you $291 off. Tell them you're a Three Guys listener. That's 29.1% savings. That's a heck of a deal on a $1,000 purchase. Visit them at burdettcamping.com or stop by and see them in Winfield. Also, Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by WV Game Changer. Addiction affects the entire family, robbing children of their parents and parents of their children. West Virginia, as you know, hit hard in the opioid overdose epidemic. More than 7,000 children live in foster care right now. That's up 71% over the last 10 years. 54% of grandparents have a grandchild that they're responsible for raising. That means 35,000 kids in West Virginia are being raised by grandparents. West Virginia Game Changer supports, encourages young people to build healthy, addiction-free lives. You can become a game changer. Visit the website wvgamechanger.com. That's wvgamechanger.com. Become a game changer today. First thing I got to do is apologize to our guest, Marc Bulger. I mean, before we even start chatting with him, Hoppy and Brad's spatting was a spat.
Apologize for Kercheval. Don't apologize for me.
Marc Bulger
start out just screaming about negatives.
Why?
Kercheval.
I mean, so you're a classic guy. He provides information. He is a fact provider. He provided a fact that they once spelled Mark's name wrong on a game program of all places at West Virginia University.
That's what you lead the episode with? That's the most important part of the episode, was that?
Mark, did it bother you?
To my mother, not to me. I got over it pretty quick, but my mother, I don't think, forgot to this day.
See? There you go. There you go. I mean,
to this day, Ms. Bulger, like, how was Mark's experience at WVU? We know they got his name wrong in the program. And
he's in the Hall of Fame, but they spelled it with a K.
Fairway, but you can't spell Mark.
Exactly. Never happened. Hey, never happened with Meg. Never happened with Kate. They got all those right, unless they went.
It is weird.
Yeah, because people like Kercheval went so nuts. Of course, I was quadruple checked with Meg.
Did you ever ask why is it C instead of K? Did you ever ask your parents?
My dad. One of his best friends is, this is what I'm assuming, was Marco Pompeo in Pittsburgh. So I think that's why with a C.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
I think so. Again, that's another question for my mom. She's got all the answers. You should have her on.
Yeah, they should.
So, you know what? In all seriousness.
I'm not kidding. You had a blast with my mom. She's a smart woman.
We should do it.
That's a great idea.
We've never had a parent, but she's produced 3 Hall of Famers.
She's worthy.
We should have asked her, could you give us a few more?
Yeah.
Back in the day, probably not now. But.
Well, we got to get these grandkids.
Exactly,
going eventually for her. We got to do it. So, buddy, it's always good to hear your voice. I must admit to you, in full disclosure, I was stunned, I tell you, when I started to look you up and realize that you're now 44 years of age.
Oh.
I know, it's ridiculous. Don't remind me. It's already been 2 months since I turned 44.
You're heading toward.
It's not a good thing, but hey, it is what it is. At least I made it this far.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those great things in life that you have no say over, right? It just happens. Time never stops. And so you're 44 years old, and we all remember you here as just this like young, super young guy, and it's always in our heads. Marc Bulger's like eternally young.
Well, don't bury the lead here. He's 44 and still moving around great. Played how long in the NFL? Got out of there, feels great, moving around.
Yeah, more than a decade.
Pursuing an Olympic dream in a whole nother sport.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into
positives here for Marc.
So,
yeah, I was just gonna piggyback on that a little bit. My, a relative, Bill Fralick. I know he's a Pitt guy, and I know we can't stand Pitt, but he passed 2 years ago, and he was 54. So, I feel blessed every day that I'm still around, and I'm not sitting in a kids' hospital. I work with them a bunch now, and I know they're doing great work at Ruby and all that. So, I'll take the 44.
Yeah. So are there any football pains that you associate and deal with every morning when you get up, or not?
Not crazy. My back, my biggest issue has always been. I broke 32, 33, 34 bones, something like that. But I never had major surgeries. I had some pins in my fingers and different things like that. But I know it's going to rain. I know it's an old wives' tale, but I can tell when it's going to rain. My bones start to ache. But I was lucky. I know, Meg actually went, she went through her 2 surgeries for her ACL with basketball, but I never had to deal with knee injuries or, I broke my leg, but I never had the ligament damage. So I've been pretty fortunate, and I try to stay in shape now. I took 5 years off after the NFL, and I was turning into a melted candle, and I said, you know what, it's time to start working out again. So, yeah, I've been lucky.
So, okay, you left a bunch of things there. By the way, you should have seen Kercheval's face when you said 32, 33 broken bones. He went like, what like stunned. He's still shaking his head. So that was final total from everything from elementary to high school to college to pros, huh?
Well, I played 1 year of high school football. So, my first game ever, it was actually my junior year. So I only played one series my junior year of high school because I broke my collarbone in half. Kids from Butler, people from Pittsburgh know, it's just north. They're a lot bigger than I was. Yeah, my collarbone got broken in half, and then played my senior year, and then college, and my right hand, my fingers, probably every finger 2-3 times, and my ribs probably 9 or 10. My leg blew my ACL out about 9 times. Broke my feet, my back. I broke my neck in Seattle back in 2004.
Was that a direct? Was there a singular play when you broke your neck, or was it just after the game they said you got a broken bone in your neck, or do you remember getting hit and that was it?
Yeah, it was my first year. We were 6-0, 7-0 after I took over for Kurt, and I got tackled from behind. I put my head down, and someone hit me. It was on the top of the head, and it was a compression fracture. I think T456 or 234, something like that.
I thought you said you came out pretty unscathed. It sounds to me like you got hit by a tractor trailer.
No, hey, I was scared when it first happened because I knew it, and it was only 7 plays into that game, and I was 7-0 at the time, so I was excited, and that happened. And the fact I could move my arms, I was happy, and they took me over to the hospital. They wanted me to spend the night, and I said no. They had an intern take me back to the stadium in Seattle. And I had to convince security to let me on back into the stadium because I didn't want to spend the night.
You got rocked here. When did you get rocked here one time? I mean,
dude, he took shots.
Well, Jerry Porter got me a couple times, but I still threw for like almost 400 that game. So I didn't care.
Wait a second. Let's go back to something you said. You get injured in Seattle. You go to the hospital. Mm-hmm. The game continues. Yep. Then you had to do what? Talk yourself back into the stadium. So where were you coming up that back loading dock where the TV trucks are? How'd that happen?
Yeah, literally. I went. It was 7 plays in. I went up there. Then they put me in that neck thing.
Yeah.
And I had all the X-rays, and then they told me I broke my neck in 4 places, and they said, "You're gonna spend the night." I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm going home on the team plane." I was like, we had to get back to the stadium, so they had an intern drive me down. There's train tracks. If you guys have been to Seattle, the stadium there. And then security's like, you can't come in. I'm like, dude, I'm in uniform. I was still in uniform.
I'm the quarterback.
Literally. True story. I was like, I didn't have my helmet, but I was like, I just want to get on the team plane. Yeah, and I got on. I was like, you guys win? They were like, no. I was like, all right. No one cared. I was like, all right. I want to get home. That was it.
Holy cow.
You can't come in. You don't have a pass.
So the security people, you're in full game uniform. You walk back in and they say, you can't.
I didn't have my helmet.
Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I get it. I get it. Okay, fine. You didn't have the helmet. But they're going like, what did they think? Like, what did they think you were? Like an imposter?
I have no clue. I don't even, maybe I didn't have shoulder pads. I think they took them off the hospital. But yeah, I have no clue. And I promise you. I was like, I don't have my ID on me. It's still in my locker.
You mean you didn't have your wallet?
On the field. I don't know what to tell you.
So how'd you get in? Somebody come to let you in, or did you just eventually wear him down and you got in? What happened?
Bought a ticket.
I finally convinced the one guy. He was like, no, that's him. This is all pre Google and all that, so it wasn't like they had their cell phones out. This was 03, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
True story.
It's glamorous. It's a glamorous life. Glamorous
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Great.
It's hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, hold on real quick. We got to not to dwell on injuries. It's a heck of a start to the episode. Kirchville attacks right away. Now we're talking about injuries first.
His mom's still mad. That was a fair question.
Hey, let's talk about, because I think we've addressed it on the show about 1,000 times, you hitting your hand on the helmet at the East Carolina game at Charlotte. It was your hand, right? You hit a hand on a helmet. Can you confirm that?
No, it was my knee. I almost blew my knee out. East Carolina and Charlotte the first. Yeah, I almost blew my knee out.
See, there's the debate right there, right?
Yeah, it was MCL. Yeah, and I played through it. That hurt.
It was, so for the record, just to be clear, it was not your hand. You had no hand injury at the East Carolina game in Charlotte. It was knee related.
Was it the opening game?
Yes.
Yes.
If it was the first game, it was my left knee. Yes.
See?
It was my senior year. Yep.
September 4, 1999
Yep,
was
knee,
that was the left knee. Okay, so let me ask you this. 97, East Carolina home, you win 24-17. It was game 2 of the season. It was the week after the Marshall game, which was a great memory game, 42-31. Did you ever have a hand to the helmet injury against East Carolina at any other point?
I know I broke. Was it Virginia Tech? I know I broke my thumb.
That might be it. That might be
and
it.
Beck was trying to get me to come back in. I was like, dude, I can't move my right thumb.
Becht. I mean, Becht is always involved.
Beck wanted the ball.
Becht
wants Bulger back in. Beck wanted the ball.
I need you. And I'm like, dude, I cannot feel my thumb, and I can't grip the ball right now. Brad Lewis actually went in and played great. I couldn't move my thumb. I said, dude, I don't know what to tell you. It's my senior year.
So Beck's
Beck
coming.
didn't care. He just wanted the ball.
Yeah, he just wanted the ball. He likes that Boston College when he jumped over the guy up there up in Boston.
So that was your senior year, Mark, when you got the thumb against Virginia Tech?
My thumb. I think it was Virginia Tech. I can't remember.
22-20, West Virginia lost in November your senior year, 22-20.
Syracuse.
Okay.
Or East Carolina, but I broke my thumb that game. I know that much.
So that's a good point, Brad. I'm glad we finally clarified that, because the
the
urban legend was always
worried about it.
Yeah.
the urban legend.
We've been talking about it for 20 years, Mark.
Oh yeah,
so
Mark
you.
went there, banged his hand on his helmet, and then that was a knee.
It was a knee. Yeah. There we go. All right, that's clear. Now let's move on to other stuff.
That's good clarification. You are a case study for not saying I quit. And despite all these injuries we've been talking about, going back in time, dude, think about this. You get drafted by the New Orleans Saints, 5th quarterback overall, but it comes in the 6th round. And you get waived by the Saints. You go on to Atlanta, 2 weeks on the practice squad there. Then practice squad, St. Louis Rams. So there were several opportunities early on in your NFL career where you kind of went like, guess what? This thing ain't really working for me. And what's always blowing my mind, dude, is that was a while. It took until 2002. The Rams are 0-5, and Kurt had been hurt. Jamie Martin got hurt, so you were the 3, and you take them off to a 6-0 record. in games that you started and you finished.
And I
And
broke my neck the next game.
broke your neck the next game, and the star is born. I always love those kinds of stories because I think people have in their head, oh, Marc Bulger went to the NFL and it was instantly, it was all roses and everything and ice cream and it was all good. But there were times I'm thinking that you were kind of, you maybe threw a question or two in your mind, like, is this going to happen or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think I wasn't burnt out like I think a lot of players get because I only played that 1 year at high school. There's a little backstory. Like the New Orleans thing, I didn't get one rep in practice, or in a preseason game, and I got cut for no reason, but that's whatever. And then Atlanta, I was there 2 weeks, and they wanted to sign me to a 3-year contract. And in the NFL, if they sign you as a rookie, because I was still considered a rookie, they own you for 3 years. So Charlie Army, he was the GM for the Rams at the time, because Mike Martz knew he wanted me to be with the Rams, said, hey, don't sign the contract. I'm literally on the way to, at the time, Flowery Branch, where the facility is for the Falcons, to sign the contract. And he goes, don't do it. We'll give you the money. We just can't put you on our squad right now because we're limited to 53 people, teammates. And because they were making a run for the Super Bowl, I go, how can I trust you? The Saints just drafted me and threw me under the bus. He goes, we'll take care of you, I promise. And we'll make up for the money that you're going to get paid for the next 2 weeks. Coach Martz, you want to play under him? And I said, I trusted him. And I went in, and Ron Hill was the GM at the time. He wasn't happy with me. He closed the door. And we had a conversation, and they kicked me out of the building. And I went home. That was it. And then the Rams did. They kept their word, and that was that.
Oh, this is good. Okay, wait a second. Let's get some
we
details
gotta dive
here.
into this. Stop here for a minute.
No, there's so much. There's so
This is good stuff. No, this is good stuff. So you're driving over to Atlanta. Atlanta thinks they're going to sign Marc Bulger. You going in?
I was already there for a workout, and they offered me a 3-year contract because you're in the NFL when you're a rookie. I don't know how the rules are now, but yeah, they had you for 3 years.
Okay. And you're by yourself.
Yeah, who's with
no
you?
Agent. You're by yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
And Charlie Army called me because he got wind of it. And then I had to walk in, and they had the contract papers out there. I said, you know what, I'm going to pass. Because I went there for a visit coming out of West Virginia, and they told me if I lasted past the second round, they were going to take me. So I told Ron Hill, which I have everything worked out fine. Nothing against him, but you told me you were going to draft me second round, so I didn't feel bad. I sat there till the 6th round. You could have drafted me, so I said, no, we're done. I'm going to the Rams.
Oh, that's a good one, Mark.
Oh, he got so mad at me.
Wait a second. How mad? How mad? Like, how mad? Like, how mad? Like
his face got red mad. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, on a scale of F-bombs, 1 through 10, being the 10 is the high-level nuclear F-bomb, how many? Was it a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 F-bomb?
I don't know. You guys pick it, but it's a kid who was cut for a whole pretty much year and threw football with his dad at a city school at Alderdice in Pittsburgh, and telling you no, and you're a GM of an NFL team. What would you think? So there you go.
I'm impressed you walked in there and were able to say no. That's not that's not an easy position to be in necessarily.
No, I've learned the word no is really good in life.
Oh, there's a good
no is really good in life, says Mark.
That might be sub headline for the show.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, give me that again. Say that again so we can get it in the clear. Go ahead, say it.
Oh, it's 2 letters, N-O. They're afraid to say it. I said it, and it worked out. See?
Awesome.
Not, I'll get back to you. Let me think about it. Or if you know the answer, you know that what they say, Mark. If the answer isn't yes, the answer is no.
And it's always no if you don't ask, right?
That's right.
So go back to that for a second, though, because you're having to process that quickly. You're making a life-changing decision on the fly, and that really was a great fit. I mean, you with the Rams and that offense, and we'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit. Had you already been thinking about that? Had you identified the Rams as a place that would be a good fit? How'd you make that switch so quickly in your mind?
Well, I went to the Rams for a workout, and Coach Martz, he was pretty coy with how he decided on his quarterbacks. And, I mean, obviously he didn't go conventional. And he goes, I think you're great. We just can't sign you right now. And that was it. And, you know, Kurt was great to me when I visited for my workout. And I was like, you know what? This might be a better fit. And guess what happened in Atlanta? The next year they drafted Michael Vick. So I wouldn't have lasted there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 overall. I'd have been over. And speaking of, you bring up Vic, I just spent some time with Major Harris down at the Greenbrier. Major Harris was Michael Vick before Michael Vick was Michael Vick.
No question.
And I told him that. Unbelievable. I mean, that guy, I kept calling him the GOAT. He's the best. That guy. And I was a Notre Dame fan at the time, which is unfortunate. But
yeah,
it is, you know, the 88. I remember that Fiesta Bowl. So.
Somebody told me, Mark, that at the Greenbrier event recently where all you guys were down there, Ryan Leaf was down there. And when someone told Ryan Leaf that Major Harris was over there, Ryan Leaf went like, you got to be kidding me, Major Harris? He goes, that's why I played football. And ran over to Major, and you may have seen it or had any conversation, but he was like awestruck by Major Harris.
I don't get to see Major that much, but I am when I see him. And everyone says Unitas and Namath and Montana, Marino, Kelly, all these Pittsburgh quarterbacks. Major, put him in there. I mean, he changed the position in football, I think, in 88. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
How people, I think they just forgot how good of a player Major was.
As a sophomore. He was a sophomore in 88.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Way ahead of his time. He'd be making I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I think he's great. I do. But I think Major would at least be as equal as a player as Patrick.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. So you do this deal with the St. Louis, and all of a sudden you get your opportunity. And as I said at the very start of the show, you did something that no other quarterback in NFL history had done. You recorded 1,000 completed passes faster than any quarterback in NFL history, faster than Kurt Warner, who you eventually replaced, Drew Bledsoe. Peyton Manning needed 48 games. Dan Marino needed 49 games to get to 1,000 completions, and you did it. That's one of those all-time marks that you put in your pocket, and you go like, well, that was pretty good. That's a good one right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I probably appreciate it more now, and it's still, I don't try to define my life on football. I mean, I think I was probably the fastest at 10,000 yards and tied for 15,000 yards, something like that. But, you know, I try to define my life different now that I have kids and move on. But, I mean, I'm definitely proud of it. It took a lot of hard work.
We'd mentioned there, Major, his success when he had it, but how good he'd be now. You seem similar to me, though, Mark. I mean, you were really, and we'll talk about the time here with Coach Nehlen at WV. I mean, you were throwing the ball quite a bit for what was going on in college football at that time. Do you ever think about that if you were playing now and the way offenses throw it and how predicated it is on throwing the football? You think how good you'd be if you played now?
I don't want to go there because I don't want to be jaded. You know, it's the whole thing. You can look at a Marino or whoever and how much they can make nowadays. It is what it is. I mean, it's afforded, you know, my immediate family, you know, what I have now. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier, and I think the rules are a little different. We were getting beat up a lot more, and there's a lot shorter passes now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd be perfect right now, right? I mean, you can say that. You'd be perfect for today's football.
But you never know. I mean, say that East Carolina game, I blew my knee out and I'm done. My sister, it was Madison Square Garden where she blew her knee out in New York City. She'd be a star in the WNBA, but she blew her knee out. It just, I try to put the blinders on and not look in the rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm. I guess what you're saying is you made the best of what you had at that time and like move on.
Yeah. All right, I got another quick story for you. I don't even know if you guys know this one, but so you go to the combine, you're lined up with alphabetically. So I pretty much had a partner the whole way through my 31st physical. I mean, I'm like, okay, the test they give you, it's unbelievable. You know, I got it. I don't have a hernia. It never ends.
Cough,
it's
cough,
all open.
cough. Yeah.
Yeah, I go, Jesus Lord. So, yeah, then you do your ortho, you do everything. And I'm sitting there talking to this dude, and I'm like, how am I not going to go in the first round? And again, I don't have any animosity towards the guys who got taken ahead of me, and he felt the same way. I was like, dude, you're good. I've seen your film. We played the team before you the week before, so I had to watch your film. And he's like, don't get it. And then we both got drafted the same round. It was Brady. Me and him, literally. Yeah, BU and BR. Yes, we were right there, same round, and we were partners at the combine.
Yeah, you were one of the 5 quarterbacks that got picked in front of Brady. Everyone always says he was the 6th. 5 other guys. You were 5 out of the 6. That's amazing. So alphabetically, you just kind of walked together, did the whole thing together.
Yep. Cade McNown was 5th the year before. Not that I looked it up when I was younger. And he was a 12th overall pick. How about that?
Wow.
It was Achilles Smith. It was Donovan McNabb. It was Peyton Manning. It was Ryan Leaf. Yeah. I'd have been 12th overall if it was the year before.
How about that?
And Brady should have been number 1 overall. I mean, the guy's the best. Holy cow.
It probably boggles your mind when you watch him play today going like, dude, how in the heck is he still out there doing that?
Oh, it's great. I mean, he works his butt off, and, the NFL as a quarterback, at least 90% of it is mental. And I know people use it as a cliche, but it's not. I mean, you obviously have to have the physical talents, but do you understand the defenses? And then you get these kids that come in that are 22, 23, 24. You can manipulate them so easy, just with what you want to do. It's great. But it takes hard work, and he doesn't surprise me that he's still doing this.
Marc Bulger's with his former WVU quarterback, now professional curler.
That's what we're talking about,
curler.
baby. All of a sudden, the conversation got very icy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So fill us in. Still there, Mark?
I'm still there.
Yeah. Well, give us the skinny on the ice. What's going on? I know the pandemic slowed you guys down. Where are we at?
Yeah. So Jared Allen, I'm sure most of your listeners know he played for Minnesota, Chicago, Carolina, everything. He called me because we both moved to Nashville 5-6 years ago. And he said he wanted to be an Olympian. And I didn't really know Jared that well. And I said, okay. And he was looking for an easy route because he had a bet with it, buddy. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm in. I'm like, I just moved from Florida up to Nashville. And I was like, okay. So he was like, badminton. I was like, okay. So I watched, literally, this is true. For 4 days, I watched badminton, and I called him up. I was like, dude, we got no chance. I was like we're too heavy. I was like, I'm going to hurt my knees. I was like, we don't have a chance. He goes, okay, give me 2 days. Give me 2 days. So he was like curling. And this is right before we won the gold in the Olympics. And, so we just start doing it. And Keith Bullock played at Syracuse, the old Big East with us.
Yeah.
He lives here. And Mike Roos, he's all-pro here. So we made up all-pro curling team. And when we spend time in Fargo and Minneapolis, Blaine, Evelyn, all these places curling for 2 years. We played the Olympic team 6 times already, I think. And then COVID hit and kind of slowed us down. So I still love the sport and decided I'm going to bring it to Nashville, and that's the point we're at. I think the Olympic thing's over. Again, you guys brought up earlier, I'm 44. I ain't getting any younger. So.
Yeah, so you just touched on it. You are in the process of building, or I don't know where you guys stand in the process, but you're creating a facility where people can play, socialize. So what is it? What it's going to be? Because we'll send Mountaineer fans there by the drill. This is a very high impact, high influencer show. I mean, there may be a line starting right now down the interstate. So what's the facility going to be like?
No, it's just an idea I had. I just love the sport of curling, and T-line is it's the line that goes through it's called the house, the circle thing. I think everyone knows that. if you watch any curling. And then I said, you know what? If you don't want to be on the ice, you can bowl. So there's going to be bowling, curling, in a restaurant. Should be open. It's 2.5 years in. I've been working on it, and 3 months from now. So 30,000 square feet. It's going to be a big place. T-line T-line.com will be up and running a little bit more soon. But yeah, if you want to curl or bowl or go to a restaurant about 3 miles from downtown in Nashville, get off of Broadway. It's a good place.
That's neat. So will you guys still compete? Is the team still together, or are you guys done? What's the status?
Yeah, it's just been tough. We did some pieces with ESPN and everything, and then when COVID, obviously, like just travel-wise, we couldn't. We were training at the Olympic facility in Blaine, Minnesota. It's just north of Minnesota or Minneapolis. We just couldn't travel and get up there and get our ice time, and everyone's been curling for 30 years.
Yeah.
I guess they're still ahead of the curve. So we, I don't know. I mean, maybe we will. I just once I open, I know I'll be curling again, but it's gonna be tough. I mean, the window's closing. I guess it's China in 2 years for the Winter Olympics. So we'll see.
Golf or curling? Which do you love more?
Oh, he's a curler.
Oh boy. Yeah, curling's a little less time consuming, but golf still. I love golf just because it's on you. Because curling's more of a team sport like football, and I've always loved golf because I have no one to blame but myself. There's no excuses. It's on you. That's been my whole mentality with golf. That's why I love it.
There's a lot of strategy in curling, is there not? And it's not just about trying to hit the button. It's about blocking. It's about knocking the other stone out of the way. All those kinds of things.
Yeah. So I was the lead. There's a second. There's a third. There's a skip. I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but yeah, my job. That's what was frustrating for me, being a former quarterback, was I want to go straight to the button, but my job was to guard the top right, top left, above the house, so they can't come into the button. And even if I did it well, I just didn't feel like I did anything because everyone gets 2 stones, and I only had my 2, and I'm like, oh. You want to throw the touchdown. You don't want to throw the 3-yard, first down. I want to throw the 40-yard bomb, but it was good, though. I think that's why we got along so well, since we all played football.
Hold on. You didn't react. He gave you button and stone. Did you? I mean, is he auditioning for a curling podcast in there? He tried to slide that in. Didn't think we'd call that.
No, that's pretty good. He's hit a T-line. He's already hit us with
that's a T-line and button. Yeah, that's a good term. The house. Yeah, you got that. The hog line. You got everything.
Isn't that when the stone gets knocked out? Didn't that say you got hogged? Is that right? It's a hogged?
No, the hog line's like the blue line in hockey. If you got to let it go before on the way out, and then it has to pass the other blue line to be considered. Because everyone wants to compare it to shuffleboard, but it's not. It's more like a closest to the pin rather than shuffleboard. But you still do have to go past the line.
Did you ever read?
I know people are so interested in curling.
Well, I think people that get into it really are into it because of the strategy. Did you ever read what Charles Barkley said about curling?
No, I haven't.
Barkley said curling is not a sport. He said I'm going to call it said if dusting were an Olympic sport, I'd call my grandmother and tell her she can win a gold medal.
That's not right, Hoppy. I mean, that's not fair.
That's just what Barkley said.
I mean, Mark works hard at this. And Mark, if you have any extra space in the new facility, and if people don't want to be on ice, what about bocce? Have you considered maybe a few bocce courts?
No. None of that or axe throwing, and I'm going to stick with my umbrella is not big enough.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I just, heavy Italian base there in the Nashville, Tennessee area, just, kind of.
Yeah.
I thought I heard the last time I talked to you was a couple of years ago at the Greenbrier, and I thought you said you were into the dairy business, like your brother-in-law was in the dairy business. I have that right?
Oh yeah, there's meat there. I think there was. Yeah. What was
that?
Is
that
deal?
right, Mark?
That's a tease. Yeah, no, I'm in corn, soybeans, and wheat. I just got farmland.
Oh, farmland. Okay,
no dairy.
No dairy. Okay, all right.
No cattle. No, just corn, beans, and soybeans.
Those prices are all up now. I know you're following that. I mean, the commodity prices are skyrocketing.
I didn't know that.
Oh, man, dial in.
Well, I mean,
Man,
he's building the facility, 30,000 square feet. The guy's he's myopic. He's got to focus on something.
There's no way I'm going to check cargoag.com. There's no way I look at that every morning at 5 a.m. I don't.
I mean, these guys just try to get by. Hey, tell me about the girls. Because last time we had you on, if I remember, we're doing horses and we're doing stuff. What's going on there?
Oh, yeah. Well, trust me, they're still doing horses. They're growing up way too quick. 11 and 7. One's about to be 8. But, we moved to Nashville. They got their great school, and we're not moving again. This is kind of home. I mean, I know Pittsburgh will always be home. West Virginia's home. But as far as I just don't want to move them around again. But, no, they're into volleyball and horses and tennis and swimming. I want them doing everything like I did growing up. I think then they can make their own choice.
Right.
Should West Virginia extend an offer now?
Be a good move.
I mean, you can do it now.
Don't even know what sport yet, though.
No, it doesn't matter.
Just
a blanket
a general scholarship.
Fill in the blank to the sport later.
Yeah.
I'd be fair.
Yeah, an open-ended signing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Elsa. I think she'll anything she does. I would say it'd be good to pay it forward if I were them.
So,
well, Mark has a good eye for talent. You remember when he was still here, he kept saying Meg is going to be the best athlete of all of us.
Well,
he said that many times while you played here. You said that years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. See.
Well,
she was not anymore, but she was.
Yeah, but at the time.
Well, let me ask you this: as an evaluator of talent, you got an 11-year-old and you got an 8-year-old. Is it too early to tell as you look at them if they've got that bounce? Is it too early, or do you think?
With my older one, she's really, really into horses. And she's good at it. She wants to be like this hunter jumper thing, which we didn't do that in Greenfield in Pittsburgh growing up, so I really know nothing about it, so I can't give an opinion. But Iris, my younger baby, she can just look someone right in the eye and not even flinch. She's got the I think with other sports she might be a little more competitive.
Yeah,
that's
what.
The
There you
Eye
go.
of the tiger.
There you go. Eye of the tiger.
Yeah,
absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Well, this has been a fun conversation.
Well, speaking of Meg and Kate, give listeners an update on Meg and Kate before we let you go.
Yeah, no, Meg's doing great. She's still in Pittsburgh. Katie is a principal out in Phoenix. Her husband is a police officer out there, which we're really proud of. Meg's husband's in Pittsburgh, too, and Meg has 1, and Katie has 2, and then my older brother has 6. Patrick's still in Pittsburgh. We're about to head to Destin together, so no, everyone's great. My parents are still in Pittsburgh, same house we grew up in, so yeah. No, nothing's changed much on our end, I don't think. Unless Meg lets you know. She will. I know that.
Well, we see her. I mean, we see her during.
I know. She'll let you know.
During the entire hoop season. Yeah. So we also, and that's not part of the deal, provide some insight, because if people do follow you on social, your foundation and your commitment to folks in the line of duty is a very strong effort on your part. Walk us through what the latest is there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 14, going on 15 years. I built the foundation, but I self-funded it, USO in St. Louis. And I do honor flights and just a lot of things that may go unnoticed, because I have to serve somehow, because I never served in uniform myself. And then my grandfather was a police officer, and so I worked with the police, and then actually changed my mission statement, or I added on for kids with life-threatening illnesses. That's why I'm helping with the 6th floor at Ruby there. The lockers, Jeff Hostetler started that, and I don't know. It's just these selfless people that I had to serve somehow. I mean, I figured this was a means to an end, and it works. But I'll be heading to Boston for the Marine Corps birthday again this November, and just things like that. When I'm around these guys, they don't like to talk about it, and so I try to not talk too much about what I do to help them.
Mm-hmm. I know, and that's always been your case. You hired a guy that we know. How's he working out? The Steve Beer fellow. I believe he's under your employ. Is that a? Can we have a kind of an employee evaluation on the air? Is he doing all right? Can we do that? Is that fair? Is that fair? That's fair.
No, he's terrible. I biggest mistake I've ever made hiring. No, honestly, I don't want to go there. I mean, if Coach Hugs trust, I mean, and I've known Steve forever. He was with Dan Nehlen in the equipment room when I first got there. Steve's the best. He's my guy. We talk every day, all day, and he honestly, I got lucky to have him and his wife Betsy to move here because, wow, invaluable. Let's just say that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're in the Nashville area there, music-wise, and I know, just forget pandemic because you weren't able to merge, but you running in those circles anywhere? You doing any music stuff, seeing music, running into those people? What's going on there? Anybody we need to know? I mean, you and Paisley hanging out or anything like that? What's going on?
Come on, don't make me name drop. Come on.
Go ahead, do it. No, wait a second. No, that's part of the deal.
We would do it.
That's part of the deal. So who are you running around with?
Oh my God!
Come on.
But let's remember, we're in Nashville. You can run around with that. It is what it is. But no, Brad, I don't see him much because he's super.
Yeah, he's
super
like
big.
international.
Yeah, when I see him though at his concerts, he's always super friendly with me, and he has his carpet outside his bus with the waving flag. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, Charles Kelly and Ryan Hurd, and we golf together here and there, lady, whatever. But they're normal dudes,
I know they are. I mean, we know that they are, but who's the best
I was
country?
with Ryan yesterday playing golf. I mean, Ryan Hurd. I'm hit Maren Morse's wife. I can name drop more if you want, but it's just.
Who's the best?
I'm telling you, in Nashville, it's
Okay.
not a.
Well, here's a question: who's the best country music performer at golf that you've played with?
Charles
Okay.
Kelly. Yeah, Lady A's lead singer. Yeah.
Okay.
First time I played with him 2 years ago, he had a double eagle, and he was like, "Dude, we're gonna golf a bunch together. I've never had one." I was like, "Oh, either have I."
So he's one of those
Double.
guys. Yeah.
Freaking knock one in from 320. I go, "Wow."
Jeez.
Yeah, that's good.
They're probably name dropping in Bulger. Like, I played
No,
golf
they're
with Marc
not.
Bulger
Yeah,
from the
right.
NFL.
They're like, "Who's that?"
Hey, I did not. I'm embarrassed to say I wasn't following you on Twitter. I just followed you.
It's unbelievable.
I saw.
Well, I don't even know how to tweet, just so you know. There's a guy named Steve Beer.
Well, somebody's doing it because
Stevie's his tweeter.
Okay, because there was a picture of your building under construction, and it's enormous.
It's 30,000
Yeah, it
square feet.
It's enormous.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make a trip down.
So you think we might? Are you going to have like a live music stage or any kind of thing there?
After I get off here, I'm going to meet my buddies playing at Rippy's, which is right across the street from Tootsie's, because he's going to be my in-house musician. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the
Live
deal.
music every day, all day, acoustic. Yep.
Do you think we might be able to host three guys before the game at the facility there if we come down at some point? No, I mean, at some point.
I would say that it's a possibility.
Might have a few Mountaineer fans
That's a good idea.
in the Tennessee area that we can make a big event out of and say, hey, we're going to be there. We're going to tape the show. Mark will be our guest, and we can do that.
Only if you're okay with me having the Mountaineer basketball and football club at the restaurant every Saturdays and Sundays or weekdays. The basketball team's playing, but we have that already lined up. So yeah,
awesome,
Perfect.
That's perfect.
We're in.
Okay, we're in.
It's a done. Yeah, it won't disappoint you. Trust.
Well, we won't
Trust
disappoint
me, 3
you.
miles from downtown.
We bring a freaking crowd. I mean, we're like the doggone Beatles when we go out in public. It's amazing.
Well, I'll bring Meg, and she can talk your ear off.
All right, brother. Well, listen, life sounds good. We really do appreciate your time. It's always good checking. You revealed, I mean, he came with a couple of stories today. The GM Falcon story.
Yeah,
that was
very
good.
good.
Oh, there's
Very
so
strong.
many more. We'll do it in person. How about in Tennessee? You guys come down and curl. I'll get you guys on the ice. How about that?
That'd be good.
Deal.
That'd be good. All
Yeah.
right. Good deal, brother. Be good, and thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Mark. Good to talk to you.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
See you,
Thanks,
buddy.
Mark.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. There he is, Marc Bulger, one of the all-timers, right?
The best.
You talk
best.
about chilled out success. Is he the classic definition of chill in a world of influencers? He's like five rows behind everybody, just going like, I'm
you know
fine.
what he also is? He's exactly the same Mark as he was here.
100%.
Like, you couldn't have made him more uncomfortable with anything you asked other than what you did to make him name drop.
You
Like,
think I was rude to him?
You could
or?
have asked him for $1 million. You could have said, "Hey, can we get $1 million?" That would have been an easier get than getting those names out of it. Same dude.
You know how you remember? Well, Tony remembers every game. I don't. But I remember when West Virginia played at Pitt one year. I guess maybe Bulger was a senior. I don't know. And it was at Pitt. It was at
98.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Where he was through like 6 touchdown passes.
6, correct. 400 and some yards.
And he was throwing that football. You know, he always had he had a great arm for not a big guy. And they were like baseballs, Brad. And just like right into the guy's hands. I mean, just BB, just perfect.
You think he was dialed in?
Oh my gosh. Is that what it was? 6?
6.
Had a conversation. I wanted to bring this up and I forgot with one of the SID people at WVU today because I said we were going to have Mark on, and they said, let me tell you my lasting memory. He had a 3 or 4 interception game against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. 2 of them were in the end zone. And when the game was over, he went to the SID person, still full uniform, and he said, hey, man, he goes, just tell me when you need me for the interviews.
Wow. Yeah.
So many of these guys, they can't run fast enough, and then the coach has to come in there and what do you want to talk to him for? Yeah. He's like, bring him. Let's go. Let's talk. Those are the guys.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that you respect the most.
26 of 37, 409 and 6.
It's a good day.
Against going back into Pittsburgh. Saying, hi, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, here's a little something for you.
I'm back.
Those were the games. Those were the games where Charles Fisher had the interceptions. Like back-to-back years. Now, if you go ahead and take a look at those, Charles Fisher also went into Three Rivers and had interceptions in those games. Big game.
Who was he? Was he throwing to Foreman? Was that Foreman? Who was he throwing it to?
You know, Well, we didn't bring up
Becht. I mean, who was catching all those passes?
Yeah, good call. So Foreman led the day, 5 catches, 115. Corey Ivy gave you 6 catches, 113. David Saunders, 7 for 91. Our guy Anthony Becht, 5 for 76.
So that's a pretty good receiving core right there.
How much would you give to go into this coming Mountaineer season and have Corey Ivy, Sean Foreman, and David Saunders?
How about one of those guys?
With Becht, and then you line up in the backfield, and who's your one back? Amos.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a team.
But
That's that 98 team, remember? I mean, I still contend if they didn't open with Ohio State, that's a different deal.
That was a curveball. I mean, it took them a while to recover from that Ohio State game. I mean, Ohio State was loaded.
Andy Katzenmoyer became eligible, if you remember. Took a barbershop class or something like
golf.
that.
Katzenmoyer reference. I know he ran from that. Mark didn't want to talk. You know how good he would be right now in today's football? I mean, he would be a dude
crazy good
right now.
Crazy good. Yeah, crazy good. But you know what? He did hit it.
Yeah.
He hit it, man. A lot of times we have guys come on and they say, like Tally was saying, hey, we didn't make that much money back then. You know, right? He was right. They didn't make much money then. Mark, he hit it pretty good. Not as much as it is now, but in 2007, he signed a 6-year extension with the Rams for $62.5 million.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
That's a good deal. And that included 27 guaranteed.
How about walking? I mean, look how much things have changed. Bulger, obviously a very smart guy, but walking, I mean, without an agent walking into the GM's office in Atlanta and saying, no.
Awesome.
What do you
That's
mean?
amazing.
Awesome.
That's a great
What
story.
What do you have? Oh, I have a promise. I have a guy who promises he's going to do something. That's a roll of the dice.
A guy hadn't played much, right? Didn't have standing in the NFL and walked in there and said, no, I'm going to trust Mike Moore, which obviously a great decision. Great match. Perfect situation for Mark's skill set with that offense the way it ran. But that took some intestinal fortitude to do that.
Think about why he said it. You said you would draft me if I didn't get drafted by the second round. I was sitting through 3, 4, 5, and you didn't pick me. Yeah. So as a result, that's the way that it's going to work.
But think of timing. How we talk so much about timing in life. I mean, if that call comes an hour and a half later, he signed with the Falcons.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that's timing, too, because he wasn't going to tell the Falcons guy no if he didn't have the Rams thing sitting there.
Then Michael Vick's there the next year.
Incredible. That's a great story. Had not heard that one.
Time to go into some of our text questions since our last show. But before we do that, I'd like to make a plaque presentation
Excuse me?
Presentation of a plaque. Can we get a tight shot on this, Taylor? This, I don't know if I might not be. It says Tony Scopes Caridi, April 25, 2021, from Warriors in the Field, Limited. And it's a picture of me and the hog, the wild, rabid boar.
It wasn't rabid.
Attacking
it was
boar.
wild. It wasn't rabid.
Can he get close? So was that it? That's it sleeping before you shot it? Is that what we got a picture of? It's over there sleeping?
It's dead. Its lungs.
Oh, that's after you shot it while it was asleep.
Lungs have been infiltrated by one
shot. It while it
shot.
was asleep.
But the funniest part to me on that hobby is Scopes. So thanks to the folks at Warriors in the Field, great guys there, Dave and all folks. Thank you very much. That'll be hung by the chimney with care. Thank you very much.
That is A+ work by them to put scopes on.
That is, that's strong. They're dialed in.
Don't forget,
They got it.
that is a nonprofit, Warriors in the Field, and if you would like to make a donation as they take military folks out, they do a bunch of stuff. I mean, I just talked to them last week. They've got a smallmouth fishing deal coming up. They've got pheasants that they're doing in October. So they do a bunch of different things. So Warriors in the Field's a wonderful organization. If you'd like to, yeah, you can do it right there. You can do PayPal, Warriors in the Field. Look it up on Facebook and various other places. Text questions now. Starts off from Doug, Scopes, Senator, and the Sage. All right, did I already read this last show? June 2, 327. Maybe, I don't know if I did. Scopes, Senator, and the Sage, if he showed up and didn't phone in the show, we previously, they took a shot at you for a previously enjoyed show. There may have been a comment or two on the last show about you using previously played shows. I don't know where it came from. Something about Memorial Day where Brad and I did a live show. You may have used one from the previous Friday on Monday. There may have been a question about the integrity of doing that, and apparently, anyway, we're a few years getting hot and heavy in the conference TV deals, Tier 3 rights, and just all overall craziness. And yeah, we did this show. This was the gentleman that was very upset about the MAC affiliation and men's soccer, and we did get into that. There is news coming out that it looks as though there's a good movement here for the football playoff to grow not to 8, but to 12 teams.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, Pete Thamel has it, and the conversation is happening now. And I've got folks that I talk to as well, and I think that's just not a pipe dream. I think this thing could go to 12 before it goes to 8. In other words, we'll never see 8, but we'll do 12.
So expansion's not the worst thing in the world, as everybody's been trying to tell you for how many years? So they're actually now going to expand.
Yep.
Oh.
If you're going to do it, then it makes sense to do 12 rather than go to go to 8 and immediately say, well, what about 12? I mean, just go to 12 and stay there for 20 years or whatever and do it.
Brad makes a good point. They won't go to 8 because people have been saying, go to 8. They just want to go we're not listening to anybody. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to go to 12.
We came up with our own plan here. We're not doing it. I mean, they couldn't have done 8 and done the power conference guarantees, the group of 5 guarantee, and the 2 at large, because everybody has said that for 25 years. Every person. Right. 25 years, however long it's been since the expansion.
Right.
So I had to come up with something different.
So what I think, Hoppy, and we talked about this a little bit on Sportsline, is that I wonder if you do go to 12, and they will do this TV deal before they do any more conference reorganization, does that keep people in their place? Because now you just go hey, man, you're good. There's no reason. If you're in the Pac-12, you don't need to go anywhere. You're going to get an automatic bid, plus there's other opportunities. So does that slow that down from happening? Herb writes in, I loved the Darryl Talley 3 guys. Takes me back for sure. Keep it real. Godspeed. Herb in Charleston. More taffy is on the way.
Oh,
Herb is a supplier, Hoppy, of taffies to this program. And he doesn't just, he doesn't go to Target and get taffy. He goes to, the taffy centers of the world. I mean, he'll go, into New England.
Really?
Where they make the best taffy. Big, boardwalk taffy where you can go there and they're just one person's pulling one end, the other person, that's the taffy he gets. He's not getting commercially made Target taffy. He's getting taffy, me to you away, just pulling it and then making it into little things. Unbelievable. He's got a taffy supply chain that no one has ever seen before.
Official supplier.
I mean, this comes like Cape Cod taffy, New England taffy.
The bag 2 deliveries ago, not sure how they got it in the facility.
It's a
you know,
big
like
bag.
sometimes you go down to the Charleston Civic Center, they open the garage. You wonder how they get the cars in there. Like that's how I was with the taffy when it came in. We have a big garage
bag.
door somewhere that it came in.
They just slide it
Was
in
that
there.
much? Is that what you're saying?
A lot of taffy.
A lot.
A lot of taffy.
I know, because I think I ate 3/4 of the bag.
Texter says, hey, 3 guys, Jim in Preston County, I've got a quick question on the name, image, likeness issue. Like you, I believe it will likely be players making a few $100s with appearances at functions and doing clinics. The question is, do you think that will cause some to book more of those types of events than they can handle, causing issues with on-the-field performance? Or would the coaching staff be monitoring those types of things? Just want to thank all you guys, even part-timer Hoppy, for all that you do. Get another shot in there.
That's all right.
That's good.
Self-actualized.
Thank you, Jim. We do appreciate it. That would not be a concern for me, to be quite honest with you. I think that coaches will just say, hey, here's the deal. This is when you're required to be in this facility. And to be quite honest with you, it's a massive time commitment. I think these are things that take place summer. I think these things may be strategically done on their one day off that they get when they are in season. I don't think that would be a massive concern. It would be quelled, I would think. Share with me on that.
I think you're probably right. But you have to manage it.
I'm really big into the birthday. I see these guys doing birthday parties. Like, I think, I don't want to, I haven't thrown this idea yet at Brad, but like, what better way than to invite a Mountaineer to your birthday party? You get a Mountaineer gymnast, you rent out a gymnastics facility. You got 2 girls, right? That they have parties at these facilities.
Yeah, we've done
Well,
that.
what if you bring in a gymnast, a high profile, or a couple of gymnasts from the WVU gymnastics team, get the mats out, they do to teach these kids some rolling, things like that. Now, if it's a birthday party, I think you add in, if you're a business, you bring in a clown. I mean, you provide the service. Say, I can bring you WVU athletes and a big car full of clowns.
It's a little car.
A little car would show up at the facility. All of the little kids at the party would be standing at the entrance to the gymnastics facility. A small little car would come out, and all of a sudden the 2 gymnasts would come out, and then a clown would come out, like a big Corky the clown with a big red nose, and then another clown would come out. He'd have a sad face on, and then these clowns would just keep coming, and then the last clown would have a big cake and a big bag of Skittles or something like that. And
2 things.
And
I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to crack. So don't try. Just you can
He's
stop.
He's holding up.
I'm not going to.
No,
crack.
I'm serious. It's a business idea. It's Mountaineer Clown Party.
Do the clowns get name, image, and likeness fees?
Well, sure, the clowns are being paid. They're
Now,
not.
is the school allowed to negotiate for them, or are they on their
No,
own as
the
well?
school can't have any involvement. There's just no third
So
party.
the clowns have to represent themselves?
No, someone creates a business called it's called Clown Birthday, and they come to you. Let's say you're 2 girls. Let's say Kendall. Kendall having a birthday. They come to you and they have a service. They say, we bring a Mountaineer athlete to your daughter's birthday party, and clowns, and a cake, and a big bag of Skittles, and then you pay me. Let's say you pay me Let's say you pay me $500. You pay me $500. I show up, I cut a deal. Maybe the athlete gets $200.
Yeah, does the clown get as much as the athlete?
Clown,
I don't
no.
think so.
No, it's just a
clown's
clown.
not as valuable.
It's a clown. So the clown gets like $30. You get like 4 clowns. That's $120. And then the other person in the cake, you go to, I don't know where you're going to get the cake from.
$30.
Oh, you'll get a clown for $30 nowadays?
No.
He hasn't bought a cake in a while.
No, he hasn't.
He has no idea what cake prices are.
And
You get my concept. I haven't done the
A
details.
clown's going to start at 2.5.
The cake might start at 2.5. Kids' birthday cakes.
Hey, serious question.
Okay, in all seriousness, though, I do think that's an avenue. We talk about this name, image, and likeness. I think that's a viable option
That's how it
for these
happens.
athletes.
That's how it
That's what it
happens.
is.
Yeah.
It's not a big advertising campaign with multiple Fortune 500 companies.
No, exactly.
It's those things I think have value. I think that's there.
All right, question. Yes or no? September 2026, Alabama comes to Morgantown. Will Nick Saban be the head coach? Yes or no?
21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 6 seasons from now. How many years has he been at Alabama?
15, I think.
15 or 16, and he just signed the new deal. Well, I mean, the extension through 2028. Now, of course, he doesn't have to coach Alabama. Extension through 2028. He's 70, I believe.
He'll be, what did we say? Going to be 70.
So
yeah,
is
October.
I hope so. That's a long time away. Think of how much has changed in the last 6 years. That's a long time. I hope the answer is yes to that.
Yeah.
I would hope it is too, but things change. I mean, things change.
That's a long time away.
Things change physically. I tell you this, if he's the head coach at Alabama when West Virginia plays him and he's still doing what he's doing at that level, that will be the all-time greatest sports story ever because he's already the greatest ever. And to continue to rubber stamp what he's doing, mind-boggling.
But think of what you just said about all the potential changes coming. Is there more conference realignment? The game's got to be played, first of all. That might be the first question. Does that game get played in 2026 with this ridiculous scheduling so far out? So there's more pathways to no than there is yes.
Right. There
I guess
are.
is how I'd say that.
There are, and you're right. But when you say think how much has changed, and that's true. So things will change. You know what hasn't changed? His ability and Alabama's ability to win consistently, 88% of games, 6 national championships there. So
it's incredible.
His health appears to be good. And I read a story recently about him. You know what his avocations are? Doesn't have any.
Football.
Doesn't have any.
Yeah,
He can't imagine not coaching football.
I think he goes on that boat a couple times in the summer just so Marty Smith can go over there and run around a little bit so they can get features for game day for the season.
I mean, you got to start it once or twice to make sure it stays running. I think other than that, he's coaching football.
Then they run out of gas that one time or the battery or something, and that was Clay in Lexington, Kentucky. I noticed you guys did not mention social media name, image, likeness, income for college athletes, and I had a few questions. This certainly seems like a great way to get endorsements for local or regional business, but I'm unsure if the large companies that sell goods and services on a national level would be paying out 6 figures or even 5 to college athletes for endorsements like many have estimated. Do you happen to know if companies that advertise with influencers on social have confirmed they would pay 5 or 6 figures to college athletes with a large social media presence? Wouldn't pro athletes with a similar number of followers serve as a pretty good analog for social media earnings potential? Clay, Lexington, Kentucky. You raised some extremely good points. Short answer is you are correct. No, there's not going to be 5 or 6 figure payments for college athletes with maybe an incredibly small exception. It would be local and regionals on much smaller numbers when this happens. You're right. That's not happening. The Trevor Lawrences of the world, again, small number. Does Head & Shoulders shampoo do a deal with Trevor Lawrence with his flowing locks when he was the quarterback at Clemson for a number that's 6 figures? Yeah, I could see that happening. Maybe Dove, because Head & Shoulders kind of old school, more of a detergent than it really is a shampoo. If you've ever, but like
Pert,
that was rough too. Pert was basically dishwasher type soap.
Was it?
Oh yeah, that was strong. Dove,
Nexum, is there a Nexum?
I think that's a digestive thing for acid reflux.
No wonder it's not cleaning my hair very well.
Karen, I ground it all up and mixed it with water. I tell you what, my hair's not clean, but hell, I haven't burped out of my head in years. So I think you're exactly on it, Clay. You're right. If pro athletes aren't banging those with social media followings, college athletes, it's going to be a local thing, and it's going to be small numbers. We're talking about hundreds, thousand, couple $1,000 maybe. They'll give it a try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
correct.
I tell you what, though.
Prel.
Let's go.
Vidal Sassoon still around?
That was a nice bottle. That was a good bottle on that. This is Sassoon. Texter writes, Scopes, in all capital letters, and Senator plus minus Dean. I promise this message is shorter than it looks. Thank you for the wonderful interview with Daryl Talley, or Mr. Outside, as the voice of the Mountaineers, Jack Fleming, introduced him. Fascinating to think that a guy who only played 10 high school games over 2 years due to injury could go 12 years in the NFL without missing a game. That is amazing.
That is
incredible.
One Boar reference and one serious thought. Should we expect to see Boar's Head Meats as an upcoming Three Guys sponsor?
Very well done.
Yep.
Perhaps our Morgantown Kroger aisle listener could shift to the deli and strike a name, image, likeness deal for Scopes.
That's a great email.
Hi, I'm Scopes Caridi. You know when I'm looking for cold cuts?
Why wouldn't Boar's Head sponsor us?
Well, someone's got to reach out. That's a tremendous email right there.
I know a lady that before the pandemic, she worked for Boar's Head. She would pass out the free samples with the toothpick, like a piece of meat and the cheese through it. I got it, as you might imagine, I had a dialogue.
She was a Boar's Head employee or an employee of the place where you were getting the Boar's Head?
Boar's Head employee.
She would come into the facility.
Absolutely. And I would chat with her. And I don't know if she was making all of the advertising decisions at that point, but I could probably get a conversation going with some of Boar's Head, and this program would be a great hit.
Hi, I'm Tony Caridi, wild game hunter. And when I need fresh meats, let me tell you something. Boar's Head is where I go. And I don't need a gun. Shop locally.
I want to
Pretty good script right there.
Thank you.
I want to wait a second. I got to find this.
Boar's Head is good stuff. I make my wife buy Boar's Head.
Well, yeah.
You have her number still?
Tons better than private selection. Anyway,
Private
texter.
selection's okay.
It's not Boar's Head.
Well, Boar's Heads cost more.
Let's face it. You want the best meat. You go to Penn Mac in the strip, and that is the best of the
Really?
best. Oh yes, not even close. Their prosciutto
I got to go there sometime.
at strip, so much better. Anyway, a guy tells me, a teacher texted me, said, I walked into school on Tuesday, and a couple of guys were talking about your pig hunt. They were impressed.
As they should be.
Talking about it in the hallways of West Virginia schools. On a serious note, our texter continues. With the craziness of the 2020 season in the rearview mirror, hopefully a normal 2021 on the horizon, I can't help but feel that the 2020 senior class of Mountaineer football deserves recognition they never had the opportunity to receive, specifically a senior day ceremony in front of a raucous home crowd. Any chance the powers that would invite all the 2020 seniors back for the 2021 senior day ceremony? For a group that put so much on the line to entertain us during the pandemic, I feel we owe it to them. Think Three Guys could make it happen. Thanks again, not Charlie in Charleston. Senator, what do you think? You used to be in the department there handling such queries.
It's a good idea. I would think someone's thought of that. I would think that might be in discussions.
Yeah, it would be a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a good point.
Good
All
idea.
right. Yeah. Hoppy, it's good to have you back. We do appreciate you coming in.
I was looking for the most popular shampoo by sale, and I can't figure out what it is.
Listen, if you're an
Suave.
Excuse me?
Suave. I mean,
Suave?
Suave is pretty popular.
No, I'll tell you in all seriousness.
What, Dove? Yeah.
I bet you someone in West Virginia makes their own shampoo. A lot of people in West Virginia make soap. You buy that like at Tamarack or you go to other places, right, Hop?
Yeah.
So like we need, again, I
think it's more like they're going to be a spokesman for a car dealer or a local business than a national product, right?
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying, on our end, why isn't a West Virginia soap maker? Like if you make soap and you're a West Virginia and you make a manly soap, right, that a Three Guys listener would like to use, why don't you
come? It doesn't have to be manly soap. I mean, we cross all demographics.
We do, but we are primarily male-oriented, so why don't you come to us? We'll sell your soap.
Hi, I'm Tony Caridi. When I take a shower.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tony Caridi. And when I go for 3 or 4 days without a shower, I can really take on an odor.
After a long boar hunt.
That's right.
However,
where I've got the scent of the boar on me.
Yeah. With this new lavender soap made here in the great state of West Virginia, I can take that smell away. Right now, available 3 to 5 bars.
And I smell like a French prostitute.
Once again, you've had a really eclectic show.
Thank you.
You brought curling terminology and finished with French prostitute. Did not see either of those coming today. Well done.
And Suave shampoo.
Well done.
Suave Shampoo. All right, we're out back again at some time next week with another delightful visit down memory lane of the Mountaineers. Thanks so much for being with us.
Sweat.
Thanks so much to our producer, Jonathan Taylor County.
No, Taylor Kennedy.
No, his name is Jonathan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You see, you pretend. Is this guy? Is he beautiful? He's the guy that gets on me for not knowing Taylor's name, and actually Taylor's name is Jonathan.
My bad.
Again, another show where you show that you really don't care about Jonathan, or no, you don't care to know him, but you pretend that you know him. You better put your doggone head down. Is that a classic? That's a classic. For our producer, Jonathan Taylor County Kennedy, for the Senator and the Dean, 3 guys before the game, brought to us by WVGameChangers.com and Burdette Camping. Visit Burdette Camping, $291 off when you spend $1,000. Tell them you're a 3 Guys listener. We be out. See y'all, 3 guys.